Welcome back to Big Mouth and fancy seeing you here. So, the reviews for Aquaman are out. Before I get started on this, I've got something to moan about. Do you know when you click onto somebody's videos and they start making these excuses why they haven't done a video for ages, and they give you this long list of reasons? We don't care. Just get on with your bloody video. Do you know what? I should do that. Right, the DCEU has a bad relationship with critics and bloggers. They've had an agenda since Man of Steel, and that agenda has always been to prop up the MCU and put down the DCEU. Even though I believe Man of Steel, Batman v Superman, Suicide Squad, Wonder Woman are fantastic films and have got their audiences and have got their fans. And if you put together the box office of all 5 movies so far, in fact, you might as well put the China box office in Aquaman at the same stage of the MCU. DCU actually would have made more money with the same amount of movies. That's the big joke here. But we know quality and box office are not a singular thing. So let me talk about Rosher. I think that's his name, from Collider. Collider are not a friend of the DCEU. In fact, if you go on Rosher's Twitter, you'll actually see he has a picture of an MCU character. I don't need to tell you. Go and check him out, right? All you have to do is follow Collider and you'll see his profile as well, right? So basically a mixed up response from bloggers and critics. Some of them loved it. Some of them are calling it cartoony. Now, Rosher calls Aquaman paint by numbers storytelling. Wait a minute, Rosher. Paint by numbers storytelling? Checking all the boxes? And he says he really wanted to like this film, but he didn't. No, mate, you didn't want to like this film. You are part of the agenda. You are part of the problem. And this is why I keep on saying that Rotten Tomatoes and critics and bloggers need to be regularised. There needs to be a committee to watch over them. There's got to be some kind of verified tick for these people. And if they don't meet the criteria, they are not official. They are not official critics. So their reviews wouldn't go on the tomato meter. Things need to change, because right now it's advantage Disney because this agenda critical media are going too far. Now, I would say the reviews are more positive than negative, but even the positive ones kind of is either backhanded compliments or backhanded shade. And to be quite honest with you, what's really funny this time is Warner Brothers knew what was coming, and what they did was they released the Aquaman internationally, so nobody's going to be listening to the reviews because all that money dropping into Warner Brothers Bank will be making a larger noise. But it is agenda. I mean, I've read the reviews. I don't like reading reviews. I've read the reviews for Justice League, and that kind of moulded my mind towards the film before I saw it, and it spoiled the film. I couldn't make my own mind up because I had all these people's opinions in my head. So yes, I read the reviews because I'm a YouTuber. I read the reviews because I'm a big DC fan. I'm not one of these people who's going to say their opinions are not important. I want everyone to love DC movies. But you can't trust these people's opinions because it's all based on agenda. You know, when a critic calls a film cartoony and paint by numbers, and then they call Ant-Man and the Wasp a modern day classic, then it's a joke. Aquaman is a fantastic visually and emotionally and storytelling terms. They talk about Black Panther being a modern day classic, mainly because it had a black audience. You can't call a film a classic just because it represents something. That is just totally wrong. This film represents something extremely special. Ocean Master's motivation of getting revenge on people on the surface world for polluting the ocean. Nothing more beautiful has ever been done in a comic book film. It's actually a fantastic piece of commentary, and it actually works. So to call this film paint by numbers storytelling is a disgrace. But as I've said to you before, I'm not concerned about any negative reviews. I'm not, because at the end of the day, this film is going to make so much money. It's like Venom. Nobody cared about the reviews. Everyone went to see it. Everyone loved it. Let me tell you who loved Aquaman. You and me, the ordinary Joe and Jane blogs who go and watch movies. We loved it. I've spoken to so many people. I've spoken to industry insiders who loved it. I've spoken to prominent actors, prominent producers, prominent directors, not just from Warner Brothers, from the other studios too. And they say, James Wan has done an amazing job. One critic said to James Wan, I didn't like the movie, but I really respect the representation in the film. And again, it's like, go away. And he tags James Wan, and James Wan likes what he says. But, you know, I don't give a crap about representation. Don't get me wrong. I'm glad who they cast as Aquaman. I'm glad there's different cultures in the film. That's fantastic. But when I decide what film I'm going to go and see, I don't go, not much representation here. Best not go and see this. No, of course I don't. It's absolute nonsense. And for anyone to mark this film down, but the thing is, from the word dot anyway, we know what critics look for in movies. And the problem is, the things you, as a critic, you would look for in a normal movie, you can't look for in a superhero film. It's funny when you watch Collider videos, because I do kind of respect their opinions sometimes when they're not talking about DC, because then the agenda doesn't kick in. And when I hear them say why they don't like a DC film, for me, it's absolutely staggering. Too dark, too this, too that, too the other, too cartoony, paint by numbers. Paint by numbers? You're calling Aquaman paint by numbers when it's got a fabulous commentary like it's got. The characters are developed so well. They're trying to say that Jason Momoa and Amber Heard haven't got great chemistry. What? Listen, not every actor and actress is Margot Kidder and Christopher Reeve, or Tom Welling and Erica Durance, right? You know, some of the chemistry has to be worked at, and you can tell they've worked at it. So it's not natural chemistry, but they do work on screen together. You do see this kind of playing off. She's the straight shoe, and he's the larker, basically. But, if I don't like a DC movie, I'm going to be honest with you. I'm not going to lie to you guys because I'm a fanboy. I'm going to tell you the truth. And, I told you the truth about Justice League. I've told you, I will do a review of Justice League. The next one I'll do is Batman v Superman. It's a great time to do reviews on here because this is a young channel and I haven't done that before. And I'll be honest with you about Justice League. And I'll tell you the truth, and I'll tell you right now, there's aspects I hate about that movie and there's aspects I love. But we've got to be a bit understanding about the circumstances with one director taking from the other. But when I look at what these people have to say about MOS, BVS, Suicide Squad and Wonder Woman, even Wonder Woman, which they gave great reviews for, they still slaughtered the third act. The third act was one of the best parts of that film, seeing Wonder Woman struggling between good and evil, Steve Trevor dying and not knowing how to react to that was a beautiful moment. But no, the third act wasn't very good. Well, you said the Black Panther third act was beautiful when it pretty much was a rip-off of the Phantom Menace's third act. Live with that. You're all a bunch of corrupt arseholes, and I'm fed up of you. And your opinions, listen, everyone's opinion matters, but it doesn't affect me and it doesn't affect you. Venom proved that people are fed up of critical media. Fed up. And this is why everyone went to see it. But at the end of the day, I am not interested, and I'm not going to respect an industry, which is critical media, that have an agenda against the company. And that's blatant now. This is why Warner Brothers released it internationally before the States. They had to, because otherwise it doesn't get a fair crack of the whip in America. The critics come out, they give the films rubbish reviews. The Americans can't watch anything without asking Rotten Tomatoes permission first because they're pathetic, right? Sorry, America, but you are. I hear you all talking about, posting on Twitter about Rotten Tomatoes all the time. You're obsessed. Go and watch a film. Judge it for yourself, right? I implore you to go, even if you're not a DC fan, whatever fan you are. This is an amazing film. You will be chomping on your popcorn, laughing, crying, going, wow. How did James Wan make that happen? Go and watch the film. And don't listen to a bunch of assholes who are either getting bribed or, even worse, they have their own hatred and own agenda. for DC films. The China box office has been fantastic. The weekend went up to 100 million. That's brilliant. Made more than any DCU film opening before. So it's very, very interesting what's going on over on China. I hope the second weekend is just as big and doesn't have a big drop-off. We'll see how it does in England because that's going to be released soon. I shall be going to rewatch the movie either tomorrow or Friday. So really, really looking forward to that. Like the video. Please subscribe, share the video, share the channel if you like the content.